All right, so we're down here at the cemetery now. And this is the old Pineville cemetery, where all of the residents of this large community are now laid to rest. Although it looks like there's been recent burials out here as well. I'd read this online that this cemetery was described as being unmaintained. It looks much better maintained than some of the ones that I've seen. We've got Viola Jackson, who was born in 1884 and died in 1924, and nephew Reverend F.J. Jackson, who I presume is buried here. It's interesting, I wonder if he was reverend for the church we just saw. Probably so, I would say. And I'm really surprised that these are actually newer graves right here. Here's Terry Crawford, 7/15/1970, March 30th, 2004. But it looks like such an old headstone. Same here, April 3rd, 2007. And it looks like an older stone. I'm beginning to wonder if I'm at the right cemetery. I did not see another one around here. But if this is the Pineville Cemetery, I don't see the original residents of the town. But this cemetery would seem to coincide with the church we visited.
Oh, they don't know when she's born. Oh, where he's born. Henry Ansley.
Oh, it's question mark?
12/1941. They don't know when Henry was born.
Didn't look like a question mark to me. It looked more like a symbol.
It's like a cursive question mark. And that one too.
Yeah, that one too.
And they died. Yeah.
And there's Walter Ansley, July 29th, 1900 to 1957. You can barely see at the bottom there. So one thing that I find interesting is this, I read this was the Pineville Cemetery and it was unmaintained, but all of these graves out here seem newer, which obviously doesn't coincide with Pineville. But you know what? I just spotted through the trees over there an old cemetery.
Oh.
Looks like an older cemetery over there. So let's walk over there and take a look. Yeah, this is it over here. It turns out we were at the wrong cemetery. So now we're about to go over to the Pineville Cemetery, which dates back to 1830.
Hey Robert.
Yeah.
There's more over here in between the two.
Oh wow. I walked right by those and didn't see them. In memory of Phyllis Hall, born October 15th, 1831, died October 20th, 1881. Here we have Alex Hall, born August 5th, 1862. I have to get closer to read the other date on there. Oop. The tree broke. Died May 30th, 1884. And Gertrude Hall, 1872 to 1883. Wow, I wonder why these three are just here in a row.
That's a good question. Hey, that one was like 20 when he died, 1862 to 1881. 62 to 72, it was 19 years old.
Wow.
And that one was like 50 something.
This division between the two cemeteries is really interesting. Of course, that one appears to be more modern, and I wonder if that one served the church we were just at.
Oh, maybe.
Since that seems to be a later build for the church, and this is the original Pineville Cemetery.
Look at this.
So these are the residents of Pineville. A once fabulous community that's lost except for one church. Well, these are some very old graves. Here is 1838. He was born 1770, died 1838.
Wow.
Polly Bivens.
Wow. Well, she died 8 years after the picture, but... It's like something in Savannah.
It is. In memory of Doris. Can't read that. 1831 to 1872. It's an absolutely amazing cemetery here. So the original Pineville Church was built in 1830 and served these people, this community, this congregation in this cemetery. And then a later church, or the church that we saw was obviously later than 1830, whether it be from remodeling or rebuilding, and served the other congregation over there, I imagine.
Dang.
Just imagine all of these people in that town, you know, we're from that town that's now gone.
Yeah, yeah, they lived in their town, and at least their earthly remains have outlasted that town. And not only you have the story of the town and the story of the people as a whole, but each individual grave is a person, and each individual person had an entire history and an entire life's experience. So we're not just looking at the town and the people as a whole, we're looking at how many graves are here, 50 or 60? We're looking at 50 or 60, if not more, different histories. Every single person had an entire history of their own, and some of them crossed, intermingled, some of them were probably friends, but there's a lot of stories buried in this ground.
Absolutely. Stories lost to time.
Yeah.
William Powell, born July 20th, 1778, died July 31st, 1852.
Here you got Nancy Powell.
1780.
1780 to 1857. This has got a paragraph on it.
It says, sacred to the memory of William Jefferson, son of N.N. and Martha J. Nicholson, born June 2nd, 1843, died in defense of his country in Richmond, September 6, 1862. So he was killed in the American Civil War. Wow. It's interesting, it says died in the defense of his country,
Yeah.
the Confederate States. Homer, son of E.B. and M.L. Pearson, born January 28, 1869, died August 23, 1887. Mary E., daughter of, I think that's E.P. actually, and M., can't read that, Pearson, born June 7th, 1885, died June 16th, 1885.
This one died 1864. Here's another one.
It was a child, died around 3 years old.
There's got inscriptions too, but you'd need chalk and paper to see that.
Yeah.
Charcoal.
Oh, this cemetery is amazing.
And once modern.
Yeah.
It was once new and hip, and people came out to visit, and now everybody who would have visited these people are gone themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you say that this was once a modern place and now is just eroding to time. In memory of E.O. Brown, born February 25th, 1828, died March 22nd, 1885. In memory of Sarah C., wife of E.O. Brown, born May 12, 1834, died May 27, 1870. This is amazing. It just really is. You know, I'm a little overwhelmed just at the amount of people here and the fact that they, you know, lived in a town that was right here. And while the people's graves remain, Nothing of their homes are gone. The town is gone. You know, it's amazing the way time goes on.
Yeah, if they were able to come up out of here and look around, they would not know where they are.
Exactly.
And even though they're home.
Yeah. So Mrs. Mary A.C., wife of M.P. Hollis, was born September 1st, 1838, and died July 1st, 1858. Miranda, daughter of L.J. and M.B. Mathis, born August 1st, 1845, died 1856. And so the last bit of graves we're going to look at today are under the cedar tree. There's so many to see here, but I can't visit every one. This is Narcissus, I hope I pronounced that right, Narcissus Seeley, born April 11th, 1838, died May 30th, 1890. It's a very interesting name, Narcissus. Here's Alan Seeley, Company B, 51 Georgia Infantry, Confederate States of America. In memory of Reverend I.B. DEA DeMorse, born 1841, died 1884. One of these days I'll bring something with me so I can more easily see the names and dates on these graves. Here's an absolutely amazing grave right here that Brian spotted. We have John Mayo, North Carolina, private, Colonel Johnson's Company, North Carolina Troops, Revolutionary War, born 1759 and died 1842. So what that means is that I'm kneeling before the grave of somebody that helped create America as we know it today, which is just absolutely amazing. And then on the other side of the story is George Mayo, Company H, 46th Regiment, Georgia Infantry in the Confederate States of America, 1829 to 1863. He was probably killed in action. And maybe a father and a son who fought two entirely different wars.
For two entirely different countries.
Yeah, side by side. It's absolutely amazing. Captain James D. Wilson, April 8th, 1832 to November 6th, 1917. It's interesting, this symbol on his grave. I've never seen that before. If you know what that means, let me know. All right, well, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to visit every grave out here due to time constraints, but I feel very fortunate to have been able to see this cemetery and that old church. There's so many stories here, so much lost history out here. It's overwhelming, really. A lost community, an old church that's quickly going away, and people whose children and grandchildren have probably died off, and now they're out here mostly forgotten. I hope that in some way I'm able to let their names, their stories live again, even for a brief amount of time. The story of a community that's now long gone. It's a beautiful cemetery, beautiful old church, and really the best way I can describe it is just overwhelming. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Thank you.